Hello, BookTube. I have a tag for you today. This is the Your Answers Can't Be Books BookTube tag. I was tagged by Dane over at Dane Reads, who noted in his video that it's been a while since I've done my last tag. So I think he's right. It has been a while. I'm due for another tag. So thank you, Dane, for tagging me on this. Although, as we go through this tag, I think actually most of my answers are going to end up being non-answers because I don't really have a lot of good answers for most of the questions, most of the prompts on this tag. But we'll try and make our way through it as best we can. I'll just blabber on about something, even if I can't give a direct answer to the question. Starting off with the first one, which is, what is something that you own way too much of other than books? I don't know. I don't have a good answer for this. I actually don't own much. And there are a couple of reasons for that. But actually, let me back up and say that in my youth, when I was an adolescent and teenager and middle school and high school, I was an avid collector. I had the urge to collect and accumulate stuff for, I don't know why, for whatever reason people get the urges to be collectors. I liked to amass collections and take satisfaction in growing the collections. And I had a variety of things. I was into cards, like the trading cards, except I never liked professional sports. So, but I quite envied the way that card collectors had these huge stack of cards that they could go through and sort, and that looked like fun to me. So I got into card collecting with other media. So, like I had Beatles trading cards, like the Beatles, the band. I had trading cards for Star Trek. There were various cards that got released at one time or another for Star Trek franchises. Disney cartoons, I had some of those trading cards. I also collected comic books. I collected little plastic figurines of Disney characters back when I was in my Disney fan phase. What else did I collect? Star Trek action figures. It was trying to collect all the Star Trek action figures that were out. And then as I got older, was collecting CDs, music. I was into classic rock or oldies, and was trying to collect a big collection of music, not only for the pleasures of listening to it, but also just for the pleasures of collecting and curating a collection and accumulating the collection. Now, of course, back in those days, my money was very limited. I just had a monthly allowance that I got from my parents, which was not big, which was supplemented by other money that I got from doing chores and stuff like that, and eventually a part-time job when I got a little bit older. But yeah, it was really collecting on a budget. So, you'd go into the comic book store or the CD store, and you had to make choices because you could only get a couple of different things. But that was a lot of the fun. I don't know, that was all part of the journey of collecting. I think maybe this happens to a lot of people who get the urge to collect stuff. I think a lot of us maybe reach a point where we go the extreme other way, because I think this minimalist philosophy, which is very popular now on YouTube, I think, or at least in the videos I've been seeing, I think that maybe appeals to people who have a tendency to accumulate. I don't know. But at any rate, I got into the minimalist philosophy way before it became a trend on YouTube, 20 years ago, or even before then, 23 years ago, or close to 25 years ago now. Back when I was in college, I decided to get rid of everything I don't need. So get rid of my comic book collection, get rid of my CD collection. I decided it was not making me happy. It was just distracting me from the things that were really important in life with this need to accumulate stuff. So did my best to just purge myself of collections. I would still listen to music, of course, but I wouldn't feel the need to own the CD. I would still read books, but wouldn't feel the need to own them. I would give it away once I finished reading the book, or use the library, or something like that. Um, so that's one reason I've not accumulated a lot of stuff, although I've not really stuck with that philosophy consistently over the years. A few years later, when I was back in Japan, I got the urge to start buying CDs again, and in part because I was out in the Japanese countryside where I was a bit isolated and wanted music to listen to, and then just slipped back into the habit of accumulating stuff. And I did get into buying a lot of CDs when I was in Japan, and I also got into Japanese music. So got into tracking down Japanese music and either buying the CDs, or in Japan actually, sorry, this is a digression, but in Japan, at least when I used to live there, you could rent CDs from the DVD rental stops, like their equivalent of Blockbuster. The places that would rent VHS and DVDs to watch at home would also rent music CDs. And then they would have these mini discs, which I think was a technology that only ever was popular in Japan. You couldn't get mini discs back in the US, I don't think. They looked like a small computer disc, but they would have a mini CD in them. And you could actually record onto the mini disc. And so I would build up my collection that way with these mini discs things. Sorry, I'm going way off tangent on this, aren't I? I guess the point being, I built up a sizable music collection in Japan, both CDs I purchased and CDs I copied. And then I got rid of it when I left Japan. And that's the other reason I guess I haven't accumulated stuff, is I don't have a permanent residence. I've been moving from apartment to apartment, from country to country, teaching English. So even here in Vietnam, where I've lived for a number of years, I don't build up stuff because I tend to be moving apartments quite frequently. We're actually due for another big move coming up. The lease on the apartment is coming up, and for a variety of reasons we can't renew it. So we're going to be looking for another apartment, and then it's going to be time to sort through everything again. So nothing. There's nothing like constant moving to winnow down your collection of stuff. So anyways, that's just a long way of saying that I don't really accumulate much stuff. Even the books, I tend not to hang on to for very long, as constantly moving. Okay, number 2, what is something you do for fun that's not reading a book? I don't know. I was thinking about this question and couldn't think of much, which probably means I need to get a hobby. Which is not to say I spend all my time reading. I don't. I waste a lot of time on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, and that's primarily where a lot of my time goes these days. A lot of my leisure time, which is a habit I need to break, and I've talked about it before on this channel. Other than that, well, I mean, on this channel, of course, I don't only review books. This has never been an exclusively BookTube channel. I also review the movies I see, the TV shows I see, the podcasts I listen to. So I guess I can count that. Yeah, and then just spend a lot of time on YouTube. Now, it's not time I'm proud of, but you end up going down these rabbit holes on YouTube, don't you? The most recent rabbit hole I went down was just last night, actually. This it was time I didn't really have to spare because I've got a lot of things I need to be doing for work and school. But I got sucked down this rabbit hole watching old Led Zeppelin videos. Um, I it wasn't planned, as most of these things are. I was just on the main page of YouTube and I saw a video about a Led Zeppelin interview, which just the algorithm had served it up to me. And I clicked on it, and like I had listened to a lot of Led Zeppelin back when I was in college. Um, but YouTube was not around back when I was in college. So all these old clips of, the Led Zeppelin interviews from like 1970 or 1968 were not around back then, or were not, but were not available. Um, so I just found it really interesting listening to them talk in interviews and seeing some of the faces behind the band, and then that got me on this whole rabbit hole where I ended up watching and listening to a bunch of Led Zeppelin interviews and performances and stuff like that. Okay, anyways, number 3, what is something special or important that's not a book on your nightstand? Yeah, I don't really have much. We used to have photographs on this nightstand, but those we ended up taking them down because the toddler was just kept getting at them. I mean, oops. This is my this is the nightstand here. This is the bed. This is the nightstand. This is a stack of books that I use as a camera tripod to set the phone on when I'm making videos. And then this is count as a nightstand or a headboard. And this is it really. Nothing special on here. All right, back to the list. Number 4. What's something you buy at a bookstore that's not a book? Yeah, nothing. I mean, when I go into a bookstore, I'm there to buy books. Maybe I might get a notebook or stationery or something like that. Dane in his video mentioned that he will occasionally buy vinyl records at the bookstore. The bookstores here in Vietnam where I live don't have music in with the bookstores, although I think in some areas or in some countries maybe that's more common. I am Actually, maybe this brings me back to something I was talking about earlier. I was talking about collecting CDs, and that is something I completely have lost the urge to do, is to collect music or collect CDs or collect physical music of any kind, for a couple of reasons. One, everything I want to listen to is on the internet now anyways. If I want to listen to Led Zeppelin, like I was talking about last night, it's all on YouTube. And then 2, I find as I get older that I'm less interested in music, which seems like kind of a strange thing to say. I never really thought that you would grow out of music, but I think a lot of people do. I don't know. Let me know what your experience is. But like when I was in high school and college and even early 20s, felt like the music really moved me or excited me or got inside me, or it was very, very passionate about the music I listened to. And that part of me has just faded away for whatever reason, part of growing older, or I don't know. I know this is not true for everybody. Some people continue to stay obsessive with music their whole lives, but I think it seems to be true for a lot of people. I definitely notice this now teaching teenagers and university age students, that their level of interest and passion in music is much different than people of my age. So I don't know if there's something biological that changes as you age, or I don't know, but combination of everything being available on the internet and just maybe a declining interest in music has, yeah, made me less interested in buying physical media. All right, number 5. What's a fun gift you've received that wasn't a book or a gift card for books? Oh, I don't know. Um, I've gotten some useful gifts over the years. My wife has given me a very nice watch that has been very useful, a wallet that's been very useful. Fun gift. I don't know if I can think of a real fun gift. All right. What's a YouTube channel that you watch that's not related to books? Yeah, well, like I just said, I waste a lot of time on YouTube. So there are a lot of YouTube channels that I watch. Folding Ideas by Dan Olson. He posts infrequently because he does video essays that require a lot of editing and seem to require a lot of scripting. But I find his manner of explaining things to be quite interesting. So even if he's talking about a topic I'm not particularly interested in, he mostly talks about film criticism, but whatever he's talking about, I find it quite interesting. One that I've started watching just recently is Rebecca Watson, who just does little brief talks about science or skeptical subjects. I just discovered her YouTube channel. She's got a long history on YouTube, but I just recently discovered her a month or so ago because of the algorithm. And then last one, tag 5 people, 5 booktubers. I'm going to do Sean Holt, P. English Literature, Books of Blood, Mindy's Book Journey. Forgive me, Mindy. And Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. So you guys can all consider yourself tagged. And I'll stop the video here.